So the green flag waves at the end of the pre-grid for the final on day one of round 2 of the season for the BNL karting series for DD2 and DD2 Masters. 13 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. Let's have a look at the starting grid, shall we? So, pre-final winner DJ Liveris starts from pole position. So the Greek driver will have France's very own Paolo Bessoncenet alongside. Then it is Glenn Van Parijs and Mick Knowlton rounding out the top 2 rows. The grids are decided courtesy of the pre-final a little bit earlier on today. Kasper Bielecki and David Maslakovic make it an all-Polish row number 3, with Ragnar Viris from Estonia and Maxime de Riche from Belgium rounding out the top 8. And rounding out the top 10 overall, it is Jordi Colin and Zana Shriblack rounding out the top 10 positions. Zana Shriblack was actually one of 2 drivers in DD2, along with Jordi Clevot, that got a front-fairing penalty post-race. Rudy Champion starts in 11th, and effectively that is DD2 Masters class pole position. Ahead of Yannick Gustens, Carl Clevot starts 13th, ahead of Henry Ayres. Tom de Serre would have been positioned in 12th behind Rudy Champion, but got that 5-second front-fairing penalty, drops him to 15th, and that's where he starts alongside fellow DD2 Masters competitor Jonathan Wimore. Christoph Adamson 17th, ahead of Pritzai, Dan Zopfi, Jordi Clevot, Slavomir Moransky, and Bruno Dos Santos rounding out the 22 strong. The 2 drivers that the lower part of the field, unfortunately retiring on the pre-final. So they've got to be on point for this afternoon and see how things go, because it's not going to be easy today by any stretch of the imagination. And that's even from just me saying about that here in commentary. So we'll have to wait and see as the drivers get themselves steeled and ready to go racing. It is Liveris on pole. Bessoncenet alongside. Air temperature it's around about 23 degrees Celsius, and it will be down to Liveris and Bessoncenet to control the pace. And now Bessoncenet lets Liveris go through to take his position on the head of the field. 13 minutes plus an additional lap in this final for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Into the tram lines we go. Revs right. Are we ready? Are we steady? And it is lights out. They're off and racing, and a good start once again by Liveris. Knowlton's factoring in. He's up into P5. As Maslakovic down in probably what looks to be 7th position. And Moransky already down into stone dead last off of the start. Jonathan Wimore has got past Carl Clevot and Henry Ayres as Liveris leads the field through turn 6 for the first time of asking. So they all make their way through, looking a little bit more compact as all. That's a set and a half from Bessoncenet on Bielecki. Or was that the other way around? Well, Bessoncenet was having absolutely none of it, trying to get through. As now, there goes Bessoncenet up the inside of Bielecki. That's going to allow him to run wide. And here comes Mick Knowlton. Knowlton trying to go around the outside of Bessoncenet, going through the the chicane as Van Parijs up the one way, then the other, trying to get past Liveris to take the lead, and he does take the lead on lap 2, heading into turn 2. And Bielecki now leading the train behind. They've got to start pushing if they want to catch up to those 2 in front. So Liveris leading the way in terms of what is happening on the road, because effectively Liveris won the pre-final by quite a considerable margin. So he will want to do the double. Okay, he knows that he's not going to be battling for the championship. However, he can take the key important point to remember here, folks, is the fact that he can take points off of anybody. As Maslakovic gets he literally has to he gets passed by Shriblack, who's now trying to go up the inside. And now that could have been, I think, Maxime de Riche that just had Ragnar Viris get past. And now things are really kicking off, because Van Parijs has started countering away into the distance, doing a repeat of what Liveris did in the first race. And Liveris now nearly 0.6 of a second away. Bielecki battling away now with Besancon, Knowlton and Zonda Shriblack for what is going to be third on the road. Maslakovic, Virus, Yori Colin. Moransky's already out of the race before he'd even gotten started. So Moransky out of the race, I'm afraid, without even completing a single solitary lap. A real shame for the number 541, based out of Wrocław in Poland, running with 46 team. Besancon now coming under fire from Mick Knowlton. Knowlton looking up the inside. Shriblack just behind and waiting for his chance to pounce, but it doesn't look like at the moment there is an opportunity where Shriblack can assert his mark. Different to get past them, and that is very much the case in point here in karting. You've got some really good talent in this field. Besancon, Knowlton, Shriblack, Van Parijs, Liveris. Van Parijs has already started pulling away from Liveris, and it's already showing in the lap times. 55.145 from the defending and reigning champion. Liveris last time was just over 0.3 of a second slower. So the boot, DJ, is on the other foot, so to speak. And don't worry, it's not going to hit you sideways in your backside as it kicks you out the door. Mate. So Shriblack now trying to get past Besancon, who's been deposed by Mick Knowlton. So Knowlton in the 4:03 from the Netherlands, making his way up into what is effectively fourth. So now they've got to start chasing down the Polish driver in third place, Kasper Bielecki, who rounds out the top three. Leading the way in DD2 Masters, it's actually a French 1-2 at the moment, as there goes Shriblack up the inside of Besancon for what is now fifth on the road. And here comes Ragnar Virdas. The Estonian has definitely got the bit between the teeth at the minute, because at said moment in time, the top five round out 12th to 16th in the field at the moment. So Rudy Champion, who won the pre-final earlier on, it's a French 1-2 courtesy of Jonathan Wimore in the number 560, Pritz Sai in 14th, Carl Clebort in 15th, and Tom Dessert rounding out 16th position. So in that quintet there, you've got two French drivers, two Belgians and an Estonian. 8 minutes and 20 still to go, and Rudy Champion was right on the back bumper of the 499 of Maxime Dehiche from Sheepers Racing, and just up ahead he's got his young teammate in the form of Yanni Gersens, as they've been having some coaching by the legend that is Mr. Bas Lammers earlier on this week, I understand. So they were very happy about that. Bas Lammers, a very good exponent of the art of karting, as I like to call it. And Bas Lammers has raced with us, and he's done the best ever celebration, both hands off the wheel, both feet outstretched from the kart as he crossed the line to win. And that isn't easy to do. I mean, you've just been battling away, but when the adrenaline's flowing through your system, these things do happen. Besancon is struggling, I think, in comparison with a lot of other drivers, but at the moment, with 5 minutes and 40 seconds completed in this race, Glenn Van Parijs leads. DJ Liveris 0.8 of a second behind, and Liveris is now winding up the volume, in the words of Spinal Tap, to volume number 11. He's just put in a 54.936 second lap time, and so he's taken the best part of well over a quarter of a second out of Glenn Van Parijs on that previous lap alone. We're only on lap number 7. 6 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock still to go, plus an additional lap. And Liveris is charging. The Minotaur is back here in the BNL, and it's so good to have him back with us. I thought that might be the case when he phoned me earlier on this week, and there is the gap. The gap now down again. It's down by nearly 1/10 of a second to 0.729. Ragnar Virus, who rounds out the top 6 and is closing in on Zonda Shriblack for what is 5th position on the road, has just taken the fastest lap time of 54.876 for the 441, representing Estonia. So 21 out of the 22 drivers still running in this race. No Slavomir Moransky, but Christoph Adams is down in 21st position. I'm not too sure if he's actually running anymore, because that kart looks to now have... I don't think it's going anywhere, unfortunately. I haven't seen Christophe Adams complete lap number 7. So Christophe Adams looks to be the second retirement of this race, as Schriblak and Virus go into battle. Virus up the inside. Schriblak definitely goes through, thread the eye of the needle up the inside through turn number 1 there. But unfortunately, the thing was that Xander Schriblak held on, and he's gotten to that point now that he knows that Kart Republic chassis well enough in order to make it do what he wants it. He wants it to comply with what he requires, and that is pretty good there, that Xander Schriblak really finding his feet in with SP Motorsport and enjoying his racing. That is really, really good to see. But Ragnar Virus will not be denied. That's what the Estonian's thinking right now. Christophe Adams, yep, has parked the kart. So the 555 representing the Netherlands with Shibras Racing on the KR chassis is out of the race, I'm afraid. Second confirmed for retirement. It's only in DD2 and DD2 Masters that I think we've had retirements. Well, no, we haven't. We've had some retirements in Junior Rotax, but in both races we've had retirements for 2 drivers. And both of them, funnily enough, have been DD2 Masters drivers as well. So it's Slavomir Moransky and Bruno Dos Santos in the pre-final. Now it's Christophe Adams and Slavomir Moransky. So make of that what you will. Here we have a pretty good battle here. Now this is Rudy Champion running with Piquet's Competition, and Rudy's running with his Team France overalls. Just like I saw when Paul Louveau decided to join the Rotax Max Euro Trophy and leads that championship, heading into the 3rd round of the season, which takes place in 2 weeks' time in eastern Germany at the Motorsport Arena Mulsen, where Project E20 is also going to be part of the E20 Project E20 Tour. 7 drivers have already entered, and also at both events, and also the champion of the effects of the de facto Euro Trophy E20 champion takes a ticket to the E-Kart Grand Finals at Bahrain. But this battle here, De Riche and also Goossens have got Rudy Champion battling away with them. And Rudy Champion is about 3.3 seconds up the road from countryman Jonathan Wimore, so it's looking pretty good for a French 1-2 in DD2 Masters. However, DJ Liveris closing hand over fist. He's put the fastest lap in on lap number 10 of 54.796. He's just put in a 54.815. He was exactly 2 tenths quicker than Glenn Van Prijs. So Van Prijs taking 3rd. So that puts him on an additional, that's going to be an additional 16 points to his credit, and he went through with 95 points, so effectively that's 111. He wins this, that's going to be 136 to his credit, and Liveris will want to just showcase that he has been very much missed here in continental Europe as DJ Liveris. I know that he said to me that he's going to be taking part in the International Trophy at Le Mans in a few weeks' time. As we go into the last couple of minutes, and Liveris goes quicker still, but Van Prijs responds with a personal best. The gap now just over 1/10 of a second between these two. It's not a case of if, it's a case of when Liveris decides to go for it. He thought about it there, he backed out of it, but that was the better thing to do, because Liveris has been closing, and Van Prijs has known this. Van Prijs is not someone who's wet behind the ears. He knows what it takes to win this championship. He knows how to play the games in karting, as does Liveris. Okay, they basically make me, with both of their respective ages, making me feel like an old age pensioner. I've never raced myself personally, but you can see how quickly Liveris is closing in to Glenn Van Prijs. Now, this is not going to be easy. Going through into turn 1, Liveris waits. We go into the last 60 seconds. Now, Oliveris is going to wait, and he's going to sense the opportunity, and here it starts coming to him. Through turn 2. Oliveris not close enough through 3. But I would imagine probably in the final 2 laps of the race. We're on to lap number 14 now. So it just depends on how quickly they come across the line. So if they cross it with about 10 seconds to go, we'll have a total of 16 laps of racing. But with the pace that these two have shown, they're both running in the low 55 zeros. I mean, that's ridiculous pace. They've both been running in the 54s, the high 54s, as has Bielecki, as has Virus, who's running in 5th place and is closing to within about, what, 0.3 of a second to Mick Knowlton, who is half a second away of a top 3 finish. So now we're going to get this plus another additional lap. 7 seconds on the clock to go. They cross the line. And Viveris and Van Parijs. Jordi Kleibert has decided to pull the cart into the pits, unfortunately. So the son of the Bakker, Carl Kleibert, who currently sits in 16th overall in the running order of things. And that effectively has put him down into what is 5th place in DD2 Masters classification. So effectively, if Leveris wants to get another victory today, he's got to go for broke on the final lap, because the timer has hit 0 just under 30 seconds ago. And Liveris was absolutely jubilant, but now I think Van Parijs knows he's got to make that rear end of that Bouvin Power Tony kart as wide as humanly possible. Liveris goes for the move, and he even got a bit sideways doing so. So now on to the final lap. DJ Liveris now has a fight, and the one that's taking the gloves off is definitely not just him, but Van Parijs is going to go for the move up the inside to retake the lead through turn 2 on the final lap of the race. Lap number 16. Liveris will try and carry the momentum through. They now go in towards turn 4. Liveris looking towards the outside, then brings it neatly back in behind Van Parijs. So into this next turn, at turn 6. So quite a few more corners to go. Into 7. Now into the slight sort of piff-paff chicane through 8 and 9. Into turn 10 and into 11. And Liveris looking. He nearly got the move done there. Into the final couple of corners we go. And Liveris, he's got to use it like a fast and furious. It's like O'Connor versus Toretto all over again. But Van Parijs will keep it planted, and he stays ahead. And it was 8, the winning margin. 51 thousandths of a second. That was brilliantly done. Great racing between Glenn Van Parijs and DJ Liveris, who effectively win. Well, they've taken a win apiece. So Van Parijs takes the pre-final, and Liveris misses out by 51 thousandths. If he'd had a better run out of that chicane by just probably a fraction of a metre here, he probably would have been a lot better off. But Van Parijs takes the victory. And again, it's 2 for 2. Félicitations, Rudy Champion, once again. 2 wins from 2. So Rudy Champion. And you know what? That has provisionally made Rudy Champion the halfway point, the halfway leader coming through. So Van Parijs wins ahead of DJ Liveris by 51 thousandths of a second. That's the winning margin for DD2. Kasper Bielecki, Mick Knowlton, Ragnar Virus, Zander Schublak, Paolo Besonsne dropped to 7th at the end ahead of David Maslakovitz, Jordi Collen. Then we had Jan Augustins running out the top 10. Maxime de Riche running out the top 11 ahead of DD2 Masters class winner Rudy Champion, Jonathan Wimore in 13th, Dan Zopfi. Carl Kleibert rounds out the top 3 in DD2 Masters and finishes 15th ahead of Henry Ayres from Great Britain. Bruno dos Santos rounds out the top 17 ahead of Tom de Seremprit-Sai. Unfortunately, retirements from Jordi Kleibert, Christoph Adams and Slavomir Moransky.